President Trump sending more signals that he wants to lower tensions with China. The trade war heated up last week after Beijing announced its decision to tighten restrictions on rare earth minerals. The president immediately issued new tariff threats. He now says he's expecting to come to an agreement when he meets with his Chinese counterpart, Chinese President Xi Jinping, in Korea. But if an agreement doesn't happen, he says the tariffs will increase.
Is paying 55% and a potential 155% come November 1st unless we make a deal.
The U.S. has grossly distorted and exaggerated China's measures and deliberately provoked unnecessary panic.
The administration is also working to pivot away from its reliance on China's rare earth minerals. The president hosting Australia's prime minister at the White House today. The two signed a new deal aimed at increasing Australian rare earth exports to the U.S. And the feud between President Trump and the president of Colombia is continuing, with President Trump announcing that he will raise tariffs on the South American nation. Fox's Connor Hansen has more from New York.
The U.S. military has continued its strikes on boats in the Caribbean it says are being used by narco-terrorists to bring dangerous drugs to the U.S. More than 30 alleged traffickers have died. Colombia's President Gustavo Petro is accusing the U.S. of murder, claiming one of the men killed was an innocent fisherman.
They don't have a fight against drugs. They make drugs. They refine drugs. They make cocaine. They have cocaine factories.
President Trump denounced Petro, saying he would be cutting off all aid to Colombia and plans to raise tariffs on the country, too. He says Colombia isn't doing anything to stop illegal drug production.
Now they have the worst president they've ever had. He's a lunatic who's got a lot of problems, mental problems.
The war of words with Colombia comes at an already tense moment between the U.S. and neighboring Venezuela, where some believe the strikes are aimed at regime change. There are around 10,000 U.S. troops now in the Caribbean, along with ships and warplanes. Not everyone has died in these strikes. The White House says 2 survivors of a recent boat strike will be repatriated to their home countries of Ecuador and Colombia.
What happens to them, I don't really care so long as they're not bringing poison into our country.
Colombia announced today that it is recalling its ambassador to the United States. In New York, Connor Hansen, Fox News.
The U.S. Supreme Court will consider whether people who regularly smoke marijuana can legally own guns. The Trump administration asked the justices to revive a case against a Texas man charged with a felony because he allegedly had a gun in his home and acknowledged being a regular pot user. The Justice Department appealed after a lower court largely struck down a law that bars people who use any illegal drugs from having guns. This is the latest firearms case to come before the court since its 2022 decision expanding gun rights. And 2 people are dead after a cargo plane crashed into a security vehicle and then plunged into the sea at Hong Kong International Airport. That Boeing 747 had just arrived from Dubai early this morning. It was operated by ACT Airlines and it was under lease to Emirates. Authorities say after landing, the plane veered off the runway and then hit a patrol car outside of the airport fence. Both the plane and the vehicle ended up in the water. The 2 workers inside of the car were killed. All 4 crew members on the plane survived. The cause is under investigation. And it was a shocking daytime robbery at the world's most visited museum. And it all happened in less than 10 minutes. The Louvre in Paris remains closed down after thieves broke in and stole priceless jewels. Fox's Greg Palcott has more.